Hey everyone, today's overview and review video is on Encyclopedia. If you're new to the channel, this is 𝒐𝒐𝒏𝒏. My name is Krissy.
And I'm Nick.
And if you're into board games, like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're ultra into board games, we have added members to the channel where we learn all of our board games before we make content on them. And a big thank you to all of the members who have already joined. So like I said, we are doing Encyclopedia today, and it will follow a playthrough of this.
Yeah, it's a recent Kickstarter that we just got.
Yes, it is. Oh, I almost gave away the review part. I won't. You'll have to stick around to the end for that. But we're going to go in and we're going to talk about all of the
actions and setup.
Yeah. So
and board game and things.
We're going to talk about
the board game.
Yeah. But all the bits. We're going to go through all the bits first. All the components. Then we'll go through setup. And then we'll talk about the actions. Jumping ahead there, buddy. Okay, so let's go down to the table and we'll talk about the components.
Expedition token.
Yep.
Royal seal token.
Yep.
$5.
All right.
$1. Reputation token.
Yes, which we'll keep track of. There's a bunch of things going on the board that'll let us get reputations, and it'll give us some perks along the way. So basically, the main part, we have our animal cards, and then we have
our expert cards.
I already forgot
from
the name.
The university. Yes.
So there's a bit of different places on the board that we can actually go. The game is going to take place over 6 rounds, which is funny because this is a dice game and it's got 6-sided dice.
So, dice placement game.
Yeah, well, it has dice, and I think it's funny. You don't think that's funny? That it's got 6 rounds?
I think it's funny because you think it's funny.
I would agree. So anyways, it plays over 6 rounds, dice placement game, and there's a couple different spots on the board. Basically, that is kind of all of the components that you really need to know about. We have these cubes here that...
Cubes?
They just kind of keep track of the animals that we have and the types and specific things for down here on the board.
They're used for tracking on your animal cards, which you have researched and which you have published.
Yeah.
So you have to research and you have to publish.
Yeah, which are actions in the game. So... that was components, like I said. And then, so setup, we have our tokens up here for the round. So there's a couple of them, so you just randomly place them out. You're going to reveal one at the beginning of each round. And then we have to place out some expert cards, and then 6 of them. And then you also, depending on how many players, you're going to place out your animal cards as well.
Yeah, 6 for 2-player, 7 for 3-player,
and
8 for a 4-player. Yes.
You can math.
No, I can read.
You can read? It's the flamingos, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're just going to pick out colors, and you're going to place your reputation marker on the first spot. Everybody starts with some type of resources. And then we have our point tracker up at the top, too.
Money.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And an expedition token.
Resources.
Yes.
All right. So now we'll talk about the actions, because that's going to go through the board as well. And I'm going to leave that up to Nick.
Okay, so there's a few different places you can place your die on these giant board.
Yeah.
So
basically you're going to pick 4 dice.
Yeah, you have 4 dice to start with.
You roll them, and then you place them out on top of your board here, and that's basically what you're going to use to play the game. You're going to take some too?
Well, I may as well. I'm going to explain the actions.
How many dice?
That's too many.
You can't count.
Right? So once you lock them in, you cannot rearrange them.
No.
So you know.
And the other players can take your dice, but you do get the perk that's on the beside it.
Yeah. So you have the embassy up here, which gets you expedition tokens. So if you put a 1 or a 2, you get 1 expedition token. 3 or 4, you get 2. 5 or 6, you get 3 of them. So expedition tokens allow you to increase the die value by 2 or change the color of the die. 1 or the other, but not both. Mm-hmm. And you can use as many as you want. The next, we go over here to the bank. Now the bank doesn't matter the value, doesn't matter the color, it'll get you $5. First person to put there will also be able to put it over here to claim the first player token. Okay?
Oh, you don't want it? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're first player now. It does happen right away.
It does happen right away, yeah. And then just going forward, anytime where it mentions first player, you are the first player. So then the next action is the university, where you get expert cards. So it doesn't matter the die color or the value on the die. You can select whichever one you want. However, if you do select one that matches the color of the die, you will also get an expedition token. Then you come down here to this big old spot here, the academy. The academy is where you get animal cards. Doesn't matter on the value of the die, but you get the color. You can select one animal card matching the color of the die. Now, depending on the value of the die, will give you additional reputation, right? So 1 or 2 gets you 1 star, 3, 4 gets you 2 stars, and a 5 and 6 gets you 3 stars. And that's all moved up on the reputation track. There is the special Kickstarter one, dinosaurs, that it matters the value of the die and not the color. They act more like a wild card. So that's how you get cards. So once you put down a card, you would take it and it goes underneath your board. Expert cards go on your board. You have a slot for 4 of them. Okay, next one. We go down to the expedition board area. So this is kind of where it gets a little bit more complicated. So you select your die. Doesn't matter on the value, but it will matter somewhat on the value. You can put your die anywhere, but if you're going to put it in a different color, you're going to have to spend an expedition token or a royal seal to change the color to match the spot that you're going to. Okay, so you put it here. It's a 1. You get covering up the 3 reputation, so you'd get 3 reputation on your track. So now you're doing an expedition of 1, and now this is where you want to increase your value, basically, to research different levels of the card. So there's a level 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the card, as you can see by the little squares. I don't know if you can see it, but
I'll zoom in.
So the first one, if you want to put one of your cubes, okay?
Yeah, on one of your cards.
You have to have that many value, right? So when you're going in the blue, you can research all your blue cards. Okay, so say I had these 2 blue cards down here, and I wanted to do research both of their level 1s. So I would need 4 points because each level 1 is worth 2. So if I wanted to do both level 1s, I would need 4. So my die value would have to be 4. Now, the more you want to research, the higher the value. You can use money. Every buck increases the die value by 1. Again, expedition tokens raise the die value by 2. And royal seal tokens increase the value by 5. They also allow you to change the color at the same time. So you want to go up as high as you can, right? So if you wanted to fully research one card, it takes 23 points to research a full card, right? That's the die value has to equal 23. Now again, you don't need to research a level 1 before you research a level 2, or a 3 before you research a 1. You can do whatever order you want, and this is how you keep track of how many points you need to do, right? So you could do 2 level 4s without researching any other ones on the cards. That's going to cost you 20 points, but when you cover up these, they also score you points. So if you cover up a level 2, it'll get you 1 point. If you cover up a level 3, it'll get you 3 points, and a level 4 will get you 6 points on all the cards, right? So if I covered up 20 points worth of 2 level 4s, I would get 12 points. And then I would just put my cubes out on the card like that to keep track that I've researched that. And that would be the end of my turn for that. You'll notice that there is increased pip values. So if you're the first one, you get a higher reputation. But if you're the next one, you get a little bit of help. So that increase your die by 1 value. That would increase your die by 2 values, by 3 value, and so forth. And then if we go to the last and final spot is publishing. Now publishing is a little tricky. I know I probably said that about the expedition side, but it's a little bit more tricky because this is where you're trying to make combos to publish. So you need to select a reference animal when you're doing a publication. And on your handy little player board here on this side, it'll tell you the die value for how far you want to do a publication on. Right, so if you want to do publications up to a level 4, it's going to cost you a die value of 6. So say I was doing a level 4, I put a blue die on the card that's going to be my reference animal. Now these are bad examples because they don't really tie in together.
Here, do you want this one?
Here, I'll put this
I got a
here.
snake.
You got a snake. Let's go a little further ahead in the game here and say I've researched that,
The snake.
that, and that. Okay, so I've researched these three things, or these three different animals, so different expeditions, okay? So my reference animal is going to be this turtle. So you'll start at, I put a 6, so now I can start at a level 4. So you'll start at the level 4, and all the animals you want to publish for, you will take cubes off of. So first you start at this level 4, so it's the icicle one. That's where it's temperate zone. So I got 1 there, I got 1 on this bird here, which I could put there. So that would get me 2 times 8 points, which would get me 16. Then I'd move down to level 3. There is none of the level 3 that I want to do. So on my level 2, I have 1 leaf, but none of the other ones match. So this would go over here. This will go over here onto the leaf, which would get me 3 points. All the other ones will stay. Then my next one, my level 1, is a snake. So I put my snake over here and my salamander snake over here. So that'll give me 2 times 2 with 4. So I'd move my score tracker around the whole time that I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. Then the cards that I publish that match the reference animal color, I get to put in my book, my flip over and save. So I use this guy and I use this guy. Any cube left on it just gets discarded. So I put in 2 blues into my book, my published area. So I flip them over, I would get an extra 2 points. I did use tokens off of this guy. He doesn't match the color though. So the cube goes away, the remaining cube, and you just discard them. Little confusing, but it makes sense somewhat.
Yeah, oh yeah. Once you play 1 round,
Yeah.
you'll understand it.
And then you basically, that's all the actions, and you go around doing that for 6 rounds. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the game, there is some final scoring.
Yes, there is final scoring at the end of this game. So I guess we can go ahead and jump into that. When you're done the game, once the final thing, then you can just flip this over and then that'll help you go through everything that you're able to do. So expert cards, all of the animals that you published, and all of the cubes that are on the publishing part down here on the board, anything 4 and above is going to give you victory points at the end of the game. So as long as they are the same color, depending on how many you have, it starts at 4, but it goes all the way up to 12. So you have the potential of getting 40 victory points.
Yeah, anything additional is an additional 5 points.
Yeah. So that's basically how you're going to calculate those victory points. You can add expert cards on top or underneath so that you can use all of them, depending on what colors you have, if you have more than 4 or whatnot. And then also whenever your cards are the flipped over ones, you can go through those as well.
You go over there, yeah.
Yeah, and then also these ones, they can be any color.
Yeah, the fossils are wild.
Yes, they can be any color, so that can help you. I think our last game, Nick had 7 of a color because of dinosaurs.
I had 2 fossils.
So 6.
7. 2 were fossils though.
Yeah, exactly. So it helps out with it because you ended up with 12 victory points.
Yep.
And then so tokens on here too, your little cubes. So as long as you have 4, then you're going to be able to score the victory points off of that as well. Anything, again, like Nick said, under 4, you don't get to score anything. If you have money left over, that's going to give you some victory points. If you have any expedition...
It says right here.
Yeah,
For
any
every
expedition
2
tokens.
For every 2 money, it's a point. For any expedition tokens left over, it's a point.
Yeah.
And any royal seals left over is 4 points.
Yeah, exactly. So you score victory points throughout the game, but then you also score victory points at the end of the game, and then whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is the person who has won.
Yeah, and so there is one more obscure rule that we never really used, but it is there. Well, you do. When you publish, you get a royal seal.
Yeah.
And when you get to the end of your reputation track, you get a royal seal, and then you start all over again
on the track
at your reputation track. And then third thing that we forget, but you can do, is after the end of the round, after everyone's gone and played, there's an option to use a royal seal to go 1 more turn in the
round that you're just in.
And so you get to select a die that's on the board, you roll it, and then that's what
Yeah.
what the value of the die is that you can use.
Yeah. So just minor details that are easily forgotten.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We a lot of times have forgotten to take the royal seal when you publish. It's on here, but it's at a very weird spot. Should have just been over here.
Yeah, and I also forget about this one too. If you place the die down for the same color as the card that you're going to take, then you get an expedition token as well.
But the board is very large, and the spaces don't equal. They're not the same size all around. Like the university is a very small space.
Yeah.
Whereas the academy is enormous.
Mm-hmm. You jumping right into the review part here?
No, I'm just saying that
that's just a nitpick.
There's just spots to look out for. Everything is on the board.
Yes.
It's just to know where to look.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. So, ease of learning the game. You, Mr. Rulebook Reader, I don't think it was terrible learning the game.
No,
like
it was a medium game.
I was able to keep up with understanding, and I think the actions were easy enough that it was quick enough to pick up.
Kind of figuring out how to score and the best option, how to do it, was kind of, trying to figure that out.
Yeah, even while you're reading the rule book, reading all of the notes, because there are a lot of notes too on how things work. I didn't really didn't really pick up on the strategy part right away. So our first game, there was none. We scored very low on our first game.
And like this game comes with a token that allows you to be 300 going around.
So it can be a high score game.
It can be a really high scoring game. We've never broken 200.
You were very
close. I
was
194 or something like that.
Yeah, you were very close. And then I guess that leads into playing the game.
Yep.
Kind of touched on that too. Not a very difficult game. Lots of strategy, I would say. Getting the perfect cards that you need, really wanting to score up at the end of the game. So just making sure that number 4 is kept in your mind.
Yeah, you want to focus on certain colors.
Exactly.
Right? When you're taking expert cards, you want to be trying to take the same colors. When you're taking animal cards, you want to, again, try to be getting the animals at the same time because, one, it's easier to research.
Yes.
Right? You do your expedition, you only have to do one turn to do a bunch of expeditions instead of doing a bunch of different actions, right?
Yeah.
And then publishing, you want to try to get the same types of animals so that you can put your cubes out in the same spot because, again, it's all about getting the more cubes in the same spots.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you can get a lot, I think you got 8 cubes
Yeah.
in one spot. Like he did really good matching up the icons and the same type of animals so that you can really maximize and gain the most victory points.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a strategy about doing a bunch of expeditions for the most of the game and then at the end of the game doing a bunch of publishing.
Yeah.
Or doing it vice versa a little bit at each time.
Yeah.
I've tried both.
Yeah. I think I tried 2 different types of strategies.
When you do publish, so you do get royal seals, which
will help
are
you.
useful.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Yeah, who knows? We haven't figured out the strategy just yet.
No.
I thought all day yesterday, because we did end up playing this game yesterday too, I thought all day on a strategy to help me, and I ended up with the same type of score. And it is cards too, right? Like if your cards aren't coming out, like there are a lot of
and
cards.
dice, right?
Yeah,
you got the random of the dice.
Yeah, because at cleanup, you're putting all the dice back in the bag. First player gets to go first, draws 4, and then re-rolls. There are a lot of cards that will allow you to re-roll once per turn. There's cards that will let you get victory points, depending on the type of card that you earn that round. There's a lot of different cards that will give you a lot of different things. And the
reputation track.
Yeah, the reputation track here too will also give you a bunch of different things that will kind of come into help, come into handy, come into help. Will come in handy, Strategy, playing.
Yeah. There is a little bit of weird timing questions that the rule book doesn't really
happens first and what
talk about it, right?
I would agree. There's some cards like that depending on what you do first.
Well, the biggest thing is getting reputation and then moving it up on the reputation track, which gets you other things, but when does it trigger for the expedition? Like, do you finish the expedition first and then score your reputation, or do you place your thing, you get your reputation?
Yeah, how instant is reputation?
I don't know. The rule book's not very super clear on it either, and BGG's not really super clear on it. And so we kind of just been, when we plays it, we resolve
Yeah.
the reputation before working our way down further.
I think as long as everybody's playing the exact same way,
Yeah.
then I think that's fair. But yeah, I would agree with that. You don't know when it happens.
Yeah.
In what order. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would for sure. So let's jump into
Art?
art. Yeah. let's
I
jump
like
into
the style
art.
of the game.
I really do too.
Yeah.
When the box came and you opened it up, I was like, this is kind of cute looking.
Yeah, I like the animal cards.
I do like the animal cards. I really like the art style of just like, well, yeah.
The animal cards.
The animal cards. But I like the art style too of the board.
Yeah, the board's good.
Like it's really
It's
cool.
clear.
It is clear.
The spaces are not really, like, there's no reason this board is as huge as it is. They could have, like, some spaces are huge and some spaces are very tiny.
Yeah, it does make for a really long board and a lot harder to reach up.
Yeah.
We haven't recorded the playthrough video yet, but I know that my head's going to be in a lot of shots. Or Nick's arms, because he's got longer arms. But yeah, it is a really long board.
But yeah, I really like the artwork on the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's very nice. Yeah.
And the theme too, I don't, whatever, it could be anything.
Well, you are researching.
Yes.
You're going out, looking and learning about the animal.
Okay, but are you really?
Well,
Because you're placing dice out.
Yeah, but for a dice placement game, you're going to the continents to experience the animal from that continent to learn more things about where it lives. And then you go here, the publishing is kind of,
I get why they did that too, right? Like, I don't know how else you would implement publishing, discovering cards or animals and
But I
publishing
think the expedition and whatnot is pretty clever.
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
I think I'm just placing things out on the board and I'm not really paying attention to what the actual theme is. I have cards that have cubes on them that I need to get rid of.
Yeah, well. it's a Euro game.
Yeah, well, there you go. Components in the game?
Components are...
This one's pretty good.
Well, so
okay.
we backed the Kickstarter, right? So we got the upgraded components. So these are wood tokens.
Which
the
are
Royal
nice.
Seal. Oh yeah, they're nice. The expedition tokens are also wood. We got the metal coins. The coins are nice, weighty. They look good.
Yeah, I would agree.
It came with card sleeves.
Yes.
And cards. The cards themselves are super thin. I don't really like them. I think they do need to be sleeved because they are pretty thin. They're not linen finished. They're
just cardboard. Thin cardboard.
Yeah. So, but at least there was a version that came of the Kickstarter that just came with sleeves.
Yes.
If you wanted the wooden tokens and the money and whatnot, you got card sleeves. So
Yeah.
However, they did not send enough card sleeves for the whole game.
No, what are we
Even
missing?
if
6?
3. If
Three.
we're missing 3 sleeves to sleeve all the game cards.
Right.
There is some rule cards that would need like an extra 6 sleeves or something like that. But
they didn't send enough.
they should have been like 10 extra sleeves
Just
on
in case.
top of having enough sleeves for everything. I don't know. That's a weird one.
I don't know. And then we also got just the cardboard punch outs for the game too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It came with the cardboard.
And we ended up just chucking it.
Yeah. But that's because we got the wood
I know.
Also, the cardboard, these nice little cardboard trays
Was the
are
Kickstarter
nice. No.
No. Oh.
However, some of them are splitting.
Yeah, the cardboard is splitting.
It's kind of...
I don't know which one. It came apart when I put it together.
It's pretty thin. Like the way they designed the box. It works. Might need a little glue to
I like
top it
them
up.
though. I'm glad that it came with it.
Oh yeah.
It's nice.
But that's just another thing. And then the first player token, I don't know. It's like
I feel like it could have just been
a quill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a little strange. But it's wood too.
Yeah, I don't know. For the Kickstarter edition or whatever edition that we got, I like the components in it. I really like the
because
tokens.
like these themselves
Yeah.
would be cardboard tokens for the...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything would have been,
Yeah.
right? What about these? These would have just been cubes anyway,
These
right?
would have been cubes, yeah.
It would make more sense if they were cubes.
Yeah. So it's, the Kickstarter version with the nice fancy wooden stuff does improve the game, I think. I do like the feel of wooden tokens and metal money, especially because you do move them a lot. Like you are using them all the time. Right, so you do get to handle them a lot. They're not just kind of piling up in the corner just for you to look at.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're moving through a lot of them because Like not a typical dice game where you go up to maximum 6 and you can't change the die. This, you can literally go up to any number that you want because you really want to get those cards.
Anything else with the game? Overall thoughts?
Is that it? We went through all of our spiel, eh?
I think so.
Wrestling, yeah, I guess so. Overall thoughts is where we're at. I enjoyed the game.
Yeah,
actually.
I like it.
After the first game, I really enjoyed playing it.
There's strategy, and you need to kind of understand the strategy.
Yes.
Once you understand about the 4s,
yeah,
and how they points go up a lot, the more you have, it's game changing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're not going to do very well the first time.
No.
I mean, if you watch a video on it and you understand how the game actually plays, like I really honestly, like I listened to you read the rules and I understood how to play the game. Winning the game and what the score is at the end of the game and how you get to there, that was not at the top of my list.
Yeah. But no, I like it. I like the cards. I like the look. I like the tokens, the way you increase the die. I like that there's different actions.
Yeah.
I like that the value of the die doesn't always matter. I like the color of the die doesn't always matter.
I like that you can change the die,
right?
Which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, oh, if I do that, I can do this, and that'll get me that, and then I can do something else the next turn, right? Yeah. You're always gaining stuff because of the track here.
Yeah. And I like that you can use your opponent's die.
Yeah, and then they just get a benefit from it.
Right, which benefits because you can kind of work it out so that they'll have to use your die.
That's happened a couple times.
To get a benefit too. So, there's a play in that way.
Yeah. Plus, like, if you don't have a specific color that you need, you don't have any tokens to change the color of your die, but your opponent has it. I like the strategy in the game. I haven't won after the first game. But that's fine. I still enjoy it and I'm still going to play it.
Well, yeah, I like the look of it. I like it's quick.
Yeah, I like the
artwork. It plays pretty quick once you get a hang of it too.
Yes, it does.
So that's my thoughts on it. I told you my NicPicks.
How long the board is.
The board, the card sleeves, the different space sizing of the actions. There's just all over the place.
It is a big board. I'll give it that. All right. You enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the game. If it sounds like a game that you like, take a look at it. And I hope that you enjoyed the video.
Okay, bye.
We'll catch you later.